This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit espolontequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
My guest this week is Jay Jackson. Jay has been on the show previously. He is the chairman and CEO of Abacus Global Management. You should check out their website, by the way. It's abacusgm.com. Jay is based in Orlando, Florida.
Right.
And I have a bunch of questions I want to ask him about managing your money and making more money. So, Jay, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for having me again.
So we talked a few weeks ago on this show about the insurance industry and the products that you can provide for our listeners, especially because you're right in that strike zone of most of our listeners are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. And so that's when they have to really start thinking about these things. I want to kind of personalize this and tell you that I just turned 65 earlier this year. So the first time I think, oh my gosh, I'm eligible for Social Security soon, and Medicare as well. So let's start with Social Security because the question everybody asks when they get to this age is, when do I start getting my benefits?
Right.
Can you provide some advice to people?
Sure.
What do you tell your clients when they turn 65? Is it best to? I've heard that it's best to wait and take the benefits later rather than take them. By the way, and you can also get early benefits at age 62. So how do you help people make that decision?
We do, and the decision should be based on a customized solution for you. What we know is that everyone is so different. Their family history is different. Their genetics are different. Their lifespan is different. Right. And we do a lot of work retrieving medical documents, helping people better understand what their current lifespan might look like. Now, they can make changes, and that might extend things, but when you apply that to Social Security and you're going to delay payment, you wouldn't want to be in a situation where you delay payment and your lifespan, both historically and where you currently are health-wise, is shorter.
Yeah, because then you're giving up money.
You're just giving up money.
So you might as well take it now while you're alive.
Take it at 62 for that point.
Because you don't get much of a death benefit from Social Security.
That's right.
That's how the system makes money, is when you die early and then they get you paid into it for 40 years. So in that case, you want to take the benefits while you're in your early
So,
60s.
if you're 65 and you're approaching this decision and you look at your full medical profile, and one thing else I will say is that people are living longer, but not forever. Let's just start there. One of the things I found super interesting is that, there's never been a centurion over 6 foot tall. So,
really?
So just let it go. If you're 6'4", stop. Right?
That's amazing. Are you sure about that statistic?
Prove me wrong. I find any listener you got.
Good. Well, I'm 5'10".
Have them send you a letter. Have them find me. They're going to
6'5".
I'm not going to get there. It's fine, right? I've let that go.
I'm sitting next to Jay, and he's a tall guy.
If I
why
make
is
90,
that?
I'm happy, right? Because your vascular system isn't designed
works differently,
right? It's just there's going to be things that happen. It is super rare.
So
if
the
you live
point
to
is,
100.
this is very important.
Yeah.
So you can advise someone like me or our listeners based on our family history, our weight, our height,
genetic history,
what's best
current
for you in terms of when you make these decisions.
That's right.
When do I take Social Security? What about what do I do about my life insurance policy?
All these things.
But the government doesn't necessarily know that, and they don't adjust, but insurance companies do. Right.
It's really interesting. Insurance companies, if you really think about what they do, is that they underwrite at the beginning of what you might look at as a mortality distribution curve, right?
Right.
They don't look at the end. In fact, insurance-based tables, which are known, they call them VBT tables, end at age 95. Why? Because they're not really underwriting past that. So it doesn't matter to them. Right. We look at the entire complex of data because we want to know what happens past age 100 and how and why and what drives it. Now, when you start to think about, and we can touch on why the government doesn't have this data, we're going to sell it to them. But the point being,
the government doesn't, like in the Social Security system, they don't really. Do they adjust for these kinds of things? Not on a personalized
And it's not
level.
just, you can compare the Social Security Administration to large pension funds across the country. It's the same thing. There's not a financial incentive for them to effectively go back and correct this data. Now, there is in a sense that it makes the pension fund much more robust and will go along much longer and manage those unfunded liabilities, just like Social Security Administration. I find it interesting that if we want to make an impact to the Social Security Administration, I would think that it would make a ton of sense if we had an idea of what the mortality was within Social Security. We all know that we think that they're overpaying by $1.3 billion. I think it's much higher based upon the data we have. We run and find and have one of the most robust mortality verification systems in the United States, where we can tell every single day within 48 hours and 99% accuracy when these and how these mortalities occur. The Social Security Administration is, we think, sub 50, maybe down to 30% accuracy after 9 months. So imagine the excess payments that are occurring. But with that said, let's go back to your audience member who's 65 and trying to make that decision.
That's me.
Right. and the first thing we tell them is have an honest look at yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because what's happened is, and what I said was people are living longer, not forever. And what I mean by that is that at 65, there's a 50% greater probability you're going to live to 90. Than just 10 years ago. So you've got a really good chance of that life extension. When we many times share data with our clients and somebody who's in their 80s and we say, gosh, based upon your medical impairments, your history, genetics, all the things we spoke about, your probabilistic mean lifespan is around 7 years. You know what the number one response is? No way. Zero chance I'm living that long. You go back to your, magic 8 ball there, shake it up and give me a different answer because that's not right. And unfortunately, it is right. And the reason why is that we're built as a medical society to extend lifespan even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is crazy.
It's really kind of nonsense. But you start to now, though, see that number. And so if you're 65, what I would say to you is that you should take lifespan in. And I think that lifespan is going to be the next really impactful thing that happens in financial planning. If you're not taking into consideration your customized lifespan, not to age 95, but instead have somebody underwrite you, now you look at you, okay, well, where am I with my Social Security? Should I start to take that payment? Where should I be on my other investments? How am I going to fund, long-term care for myself? And really, it's your spouse.
So I'm talking to Jay Jackson, who's the chairman and CEO of Abacus Global Management. Why would they choose you? I mean, you've got hundreds of financial management. I mean, what's your kind of niche in that market?
They don't have the data.
They don't.
They don't have it. No one has it. We have it. We spent the last 20 years aggregating it, and that's why it's so valuable.
So that gives your clients a huge
massive advantage. That they're not getting anywhere else.
Amazing.
They can go to JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon's not telling them what their lifespan is. We are. And how is it possible that you're going to allocate $1 million or $2 million or $5 million plan and not know the denominator? How long I'm going to be in the plan? It's nonsense.
Well, one thing that really, because I talk to our listeners every week, almost every week, and one concern that they express all the time, especially if they're in their 60s or 70s, is, am I going to run out of money?
Of course.
Am I going to go broke before I die?
Right.
And that is what keeps, people up at night.
Of course it is.
So you help them with
we help
making
them better
sure that
understand.
they don't go looking at account.
That's right. So if you set that plan out originally and you're 65 and we say, hey, based upon this probabilistic mean, Steve, of how you've taken care of yourself, family history, there is a greater than 50% probability you're living past age 85, and there's, at least that potentially to age 90, your financial outlook has to look different than someone who has a financial outlook to age 80.
Yeah.
Right? And how you plan for that, how you save for that. And don't forget your spouse. Yeah. That gets left out of this equation so often because her mean lifespan is predominantly going to be longer than yours.
if you're a man, your wife is going to have a higher life expectancy. I mean, my wife can't wait for me to die. But,
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
I know she's probably listening to
she
So, Jay, we just got about a minute left. Yeah. How do people get in touch with you guys?
You can go to abacusgm.com.
You don't have to live in Orlando.
No, we are a nationwide company.
Okay, got it.
We offer services on our website, abacusgm.com. Yep. We've got kind of the 4 tiles that you can pick, and you can pick your own journey there, as whether you want financial advice, whether you want to look at some of our investment funds, or even consider some of the things we do in the life solutions area.
So what really brought me to Jay, and why I thought you'd all be interested in hearing from him, was this revelation that, my eyes almost popped out of my head when you said that there's billions and billions of dollars people are just that you own, folks, that you own, that you're just not claiming with insurance products and so on. And you can clean that all up for people because they've had these policies for 25 years. They're not even paying attention to it.
Right.
You can consolidate it.
And
because you have so much of this data, mortality data, et cetera, you can kind of retrofit the plan for the
absolutely. I would say it's a customized solution for each individual. And as you go forward in financial planning, we have to think about customized solutions, not just for the individual, but customized financial products. And we're doing both.
That's Jay Jackson, Chairman, CEO of Abacus Global Management. Thanks for joining today, Jay. And we will be right back.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.